Hey everybody, I hope you're doing really well. Right here I have a quick video for you that's going to help summarize some of the information that's in the Anthro page below. So maybe you want to take a look at this video first and then continue on with your reading and your homework. One central idea in today's lesson is all about subsistence patterns. Think about this as how people make a living in different parts of the world. Our textbook in chapter 12 identifies 5 different ones, so those are the 5 that we're going to work with today. First one is called hunting and gathering. This is by far the oldest subsistence pattern that humans have been doing. In fact, as long as we've been human, we've been doing this one, going back at least 200,000 years, which is the span of humanity anyway. Hunting and gathering is exactly what it sounds like. You hunt and you gather for your food. Your textbook also calls it foraging, so don't get confused, it's the same thing. The second subsistence pattern is horticulture. Think of that as like a small farm or a garden big enough really just to feed one family or so. So horticulturalists, they don't have the big farming equipment or complex irrigation systems to support their food supply. But you see these things pop up all over the world, probably beginning around 11,000 years ago. The third subsistence pattern is called pastoralism, and that's all about herding animals. Okay, so it might be, depending on where you are, it might be cattle, it might be goats, it might be camels, it might even be reindeer in some parts of northern Asia. And in order for pastoralists to be successful in their way of life, they always have to be on the move. Your textbook doesn't give the term for this, but it's called transhumance. And that describes when a group of people migrate with the seasons. Pastoralists need to do that in order to make sure that all their herd animals get enough food and enough water. If they stay in one place, they're going to run out of food and water pretty quick. All right, the fourth one is called intensive agriculture. And that's talking about big farms, feeding lots and lots of people with these farms, much bigger than what we talked about in horticulture a second ago. They typically have complex farming technology, irrigation, and when they grow food, typically there is a surplus crop. That just means there's extra, more than they need to just support themselves. And last but not least is industrialism. That one, I'm betting, applies to you and me. Industrialism is all about having a market economy, capitalism, money, goods and services for sale on the market. So I want you to take a second. I want you to think about this. Of the 5 subsistence patterns that we've discussed so far, which one do you think provides the easiest lifestyle? And which one do you think provides the most difficult lifestyle? Think about that. Now, if you're like me, when I first learned about these subsistence patterns, I assumed, oh, industrialism is the easiest one, and probably hunting and gathering would be the hardest one. When I want a meal, I want to be able to open up the fridge and just get something out. I don't want to have to go find it or chase it down, in the middle of the savannah or something. And that's a very common assumption. There's nothing wrong with that assumption. However, a lot of anthropologists have found evidence to the contrary. One example is an anthropologist named Marshall Sahlins. In 1972, he wrote an article called The Original Affluent Society. To be affluent is describing someone who is rich or wealthy. And throughout this article, Sahlins argues that it's not industrialists, but rather hunter-gatherers that are the original affluent society. So in the Anthro page below, I go through some of his main arguments for why maybe being a hunter and gatherer isn't so bad after all. So take a look at the points below, see how they compare with your preconceived notions, and also make connections with chapter 12 in your book. Let me know if you have questions, and have a great day.